Hi, this is Mr. Cardoso, and in this video tutorial we are going to look at pixel graphics in Turing. We will see how to draw dots, lines, ovals, which if you make the width and the height the same, they become circles, arcs, and boxes. So we're going to look at how to draw some of these things on the screen. The first thing we have to look at when we are talking about pixel graphics is that we have to know that the screen is made up of pixels going left and right. There's rows and columns of pixels. Okay, so there's a certain number of pixels going this way and a certain number of pixels going vertically up and down. Okay, and we need to see how much space or how many pixels we have to work with on the canvas. Say, let's say this is our canvas and we are creating dots. So ultimately, a pixel is a tiny little dot, and an image this size, or your computer screen, is in fact made of millions of dots, millions of these little pixels, that when you put pixels together and you color in a bunch of them, it makes shapes like the dots, the lines and ovals and so on. So let's just first see how many pixels we have to work with on our screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say put. Now in Turing there are two variables. They're not actually variables, they're two constants in Turing that are predefined, and one is called max x and the other is called max y. Okay, so this is the maximum number, or the rightmost pixel here, and this is the topmost pixel on your screen. Okay, so that's what these are, and if I put them to the screen, then I can know what I have to work with. So I press run here. And you can see I have 1199 or 1199 pixels left and right, and 799 up and down, which is 1 pixel off, both of them, the common screen resolution of 1200 by 800. Most laptops made today have a resolution of 1200 by 800, even tablets. So you can see that there's a relationship there. Probably the 1 pixel is just from the edge of the screen that's taken off. That's done in Turing. Okay, so it's very similar to the common resolution that most computers have today. If you run this program on another computer, these numbers may be different because that resolution may be different. So that's why we use these variables or these constants rather than actual numbers, because it changes from computer to computer. Okay, so that's how many pixels we have to work with. Now let's get right into it. Let's first draw a dot. So I'm going to say here, draw a dot. And the code to draw a dot is simply draw dot. So I'm going to say draw dot. And now I'm going to put the X position, the Y position, and then the color. So the X position can be, let's say, now on our screen, sorry, let me press run here again just to show you. On our screen, down here is 0, 0 in the bottom left corner. Okay, in the very bottom left-hand corner of your run window is 0, 0. And then the top right-hand corner would be 1199 and 799, and then everywhere in between. So for example, the bottom right corner would be 1199 and 0 for the Y, okay, and so on. So you have to figure out where you are. I think of this as a giant XY axis with 0, 0, or the origin being in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, so everything's positive, of course. There's no negative, like in math here. Okay, so when we are drawing the dot, we have to think of X, where we want to put the dot. So let's say if we wanted to put it right in the middle of the screen. Well, that would be something like 1200 divided by 2, which would give us 600. Got to put my number on. 600. And then if we wanted it vertically right in the middle of the screen, remember we have the max Y was 799. In fact, let me put these comments in here so you can keep those fresh in memory. That was 799, and this one was 1199. So let's just assume they're 1200 by 800 to make it somewhat right in the middle of the screen. So 600 would give us the X middle of the screen, and 400 would give us the Y middle of the screen. And now our final argument is going to be the color. And our colors can be from 0 to 255. So let me put that in a comment up here as well. Colors choose from 0 to 255. Okay, so these are your color choices, and you're gonna have to experiment around to find the color you want. So you can just experiment with different colors. So if I put like 3, that would be okay. I can't go beyond 255 because there's no other colors. There's only 256, if you include the 0, 256 colors in Turing. Okay, so I'll press run here to see if that dot shows up. Now, I'll warn you though, because it's a dot, it's filling up a pixel, it's going to be really tiny and really hard to see, so we might not see anything. In fact, it's right there. If you look very closely, you can see the dot. And it doesn't appear to be in the middle of the screen, but remember, if we scroll down this way, then it will be in the middle of the screen if we were able to expand this window. So yes, there is a dot right there. Okay, so that's how you draw a dot. Now let's look at, so of course you can change the positions here, and you can change your color. Experiment with that. Okay. So let me just put here in comments, X position, Y position, and then color, which is 0 to 255. Okay, so that's how you would use the draw dot function. Okay, now let's look at drawing a line. Okay, so simply drawing a line. The code is going to be the X position of the start. So I'll put X position start, Y position start. So of course, where does the line start? So this defines the position where the line starts or begins. Okay. Then we have the X position end and Y position end. And so these define where the line ends. So that's the X and Y of where the line ends. And then finally we need the color. Again, 0 to 255. So if I put draw a line, then I can put something like, let's say I wanted to start right from the bottom left-hand corner. So I'll put 0, 0. That's the starting position. And I want it to go right to the top right-hand corner. So I'll put 1199 to 799. And let's say color, let's experiment around a little bit and put 75. See what color that gives us. Okay, and there you have a line. If I scroll down to the bottom here, you can see that line goes right to the bottom left-hand corner of the Turing run window and right to the top right-hand, and it's a little bit of a teal color. So just keep that in mind, that teal, if you want a teal color, is around 75. Okay, so that helps us keep that in mind, or you can write it down somewhere, so later on when you want the color you want, you can experiment around and figure out these colors. So that's how we draw a line. Okay, now, if let's say we want to draw an oval or a circle, okay, so I can go to draw, let's put oval, because you use the same line of code to draw an oval as opposed to drawing, as well as drawing a circle. So a circle is an oval, really, except that its X radius and Y radius are the same. So that's why it's the same line of code. Okay, so you've got the X position here, of where the center of the oval should be, and the Y position of the center as well. So this is defining the center position of the oval, and then you want the X radius. So how wide should it be? If you remember the circle, the radius of a circle. So let's say we want it to be 50, and if we want it to be a circle, so let's say, sorry, I should put X radius here, and Y radius. Okay, and if we want it to be a circle rather than an oval, I would make sure that these two are the same. Okay, and then finally you need your color again. Okay, so let's do it. Draw oval, and let's say we want it to be right in the middle of the screen. So there's another way of doing this right in the middle of the screen thing. Rather than using the numbers that we did above, 600 and 400, simply dividing these by 2, let's make our program more dynamic so it works on different computers with different resolutions. So let's use these variables actually. So let's, or sorry, constants. So let's say max x div2. So that will give us, that's basically going to give us 600. The same thing here. If we do 1199 div2, it will give us 600. The only difference between this and the 600 is that this will work on any computer. Okay. Whereas this one is, it's only going to give me the center here on my computer or computers that share my resolution. Okay, let's do the max y div2. And for the x radius, let's say we want it to be of radius 50. And if we want a circle, let's make them both 50. Okay, and the color, let's choose now 105. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, so I press run here. Oh, I have an error. I forgot the x. Okay, let's fix that. Oh, and another error. Max y. Too many y's. There we go. So there I have a circle. Okay, and it's again right in the center of the screen. You can see that. That's about radius 50. If I want an ellipse or if I want an oval, let's say I change this to 100. Okay, that will make it elongated in the y-axis, as you can see there. Looks a bit like an egg. Okay, so that's how you can experiment with drawing ovals. Now, next we need to draw an arc. Okay, so let's draw an arc, because you can use arcs to draw smiles and things like that. So if I say here, draw arc, that's pretty much the code for it. Oh, I should fix these. These are without spaces. So we have draw arc, and then what we need here, this one, the draw arc, is a little bit more complicated. What we're using for the arc, we need to understand some angles. Okay, so it's probably easier for this one to show you a diagram in class, but you need to understand the angle. It's going counterclockwise from the x-axis. Okay, so we have here the x and y position of the start. We've got the initial angle, or sorry, the x radius and the y radius, because again, this could be like an oval or a circle, depending. The arc is a part of an oval or part of a circle. So we have the x radius, we have the y radius, okay, and then we have the initial angle. So where do we want it to start from? So if I say 10 degrees, it's going to be 10 degrees from the x-axis. Okay, so 10 degrees up counterclockwise. So let's say if I do 10 degrees, and then the final angle, or let's say if I wanted to go from 0 to 180, that will help you understand. So that will give you the whole top part of the semicircle. And then I say the color, again, just choose something like 255. Let's see what that gives us. And let's try that. So sorry, I was supposed to, sorry, these were supposed to be in general, not the actual values. Initial angle. Of course, the angle should be from 0 to 360, right? Final angle. And of course, color. Alright, so now we go to draw arc, and let's say I want it in the middle of the screen again, so I'll put 600, 400, and now I say the radius, let's make the radius a little bit smaller, let's say it's 25 and 25, so it's part of a circle. So the initial angle, let's say 0 to 180. So that would give you the top of the semicircle. And the color, let's say 255. So I'll run that. And you can see there, it's the top of the semicircle from 0 to 180 degrees. If I went all the way around, it would give us 360 degrees. That would give us a circle. Okay, so let's say I don't want it to start right at 0. I want it to start a little bit above. So I won't go from 0 then. I'll say from 35. And then maybe I won't go all the way to 180. I'll say, 145. So run that, and you can see this part of the circle. And of course, if you want the bottom part, you would have to go, the two values for the angles should be greater than 180. So if I say like 1 or 200 to something less than 360, let's say 340, that will give me the bottom part, the circle of the circle, like that. Okay? So it's all about that circle and understanding the angles counterclockwise from the x-axis. Alright, now, just a couple of final things. If you wanted to draw filled shapes with different colors, we can do draw fill box. And I'm just going to get right to it so we don't take too much time here. And let's say we wanted to start, so this is the start position. So X and Y start position, end position. Let's say we do 50, 50, and then color. So let's say it's 225 for the color. Let's try that one, see what color that gives us. That should give us a filled box somewhere. There it is. So we went from 10, 10 to 50, 50. So our box comes up down there. Okay, you can draw a filled box. You can even draw a filled star. Okay, again, you need the original position. So let's say this time we want to go 60, 60. So we'll go a little bit higher so we don't draw it right over the box. End position, let's go 80, 80. And let's go color 200. Draw that. And we should have a star down here somewhere. There's our star. Okay, so we can draw a filled star. We can draw a fill oval. Okay, so we can put our start position. Let's go a little bit higher this time. Let's go 100, 100 to 150 and 175. And our color is 190. So I went a little bit bigger this time. We got an oval. Remember, for the oval, we were defining here the X and Y position. Here, for the filled star and the filled box, this was the original starting position, and then the ending position. Starting position, ending position, and of course color. Here for the fill oval, this is the center, and then this was the X radius and the Y radius. So that's why it became too large. So let's bring our radius down to, like, say 25 and 75 or 65, let's say, and that should fit on the screen now. There we have it. Okay, and then we can even draw filled maple leaf. Here's a maple leaf, even though the leaves aren't doing very well, are they? Well, we can say we're doing it for the flag. Okay, so we can say, let's say 200, 200. End position, so that's the starting position. End position is 300, 300. And color is, I'm going to use, let's say 50. And 50 is red. Oh no, I guess I'm wrong. So there's maple leaf. Okay, so we got lots of different shapes here. And I hope you can have fun with the graphics. Okay, so we've seen how to draw dots, lines, ovals, arcs, and then these are all the fill shapes. Just to review, actually the oval one is a little bit different, so let me separate that one out here. These ones are all start position, end position, X, Y for both, and then color. That's for all three of these. And then this one is start position, and then X radius, Y radius, and color. Just like the one above, except this one is filled. Cool. I hope you have fun with the graphics, and see you next time.